Hello, Science Alliance. Hello, I am Lara. This is Theorist Giants. I stream free live lessons to home educators. I'm actually trained to teach physics up to A-level, but now I just teach whatever you ask me to teach. So we've done 8 lessons on the ocean, and this is our last one. It's the 8th one. I can't even pretend to be sad though, actually, because next term is mythical creatures, and I'm really excited about that. But anyway, we need to do our 8th oceans lesson. I've called it Humans in the Ocean. So you might be suspecting that it will be a bit depressing. You're kind of right, but it'll also be really interesting. And we have got a couple of good activities. So we'll just launch straight in, yeah? This is going to be quite a nice way of pulling together loads of stuff that we've learned about in all the other lessons. If you're new, you don't need to have seen those lessons to come to this one. So what we did in lesson 2 is we just looked at a map of the oceans. We decided it wasn't a brilliant map because the Pacific Ocean is the biggest ocean, and this map sort of splits it in two, but you know, it's what we've got. And we sort of tried to mix humans and the ocean right at the start to give ourselves a better feeling for where the oceans are. Moana, for example, is set on a made-up island near here in the Pacific Ocean. The Titanic sank over here in the Atlantic Ocean near New York. This is India, so that's why the Indian Ocean is called the Indian Ocean. That might come up later. The Pacific Ocean is the biggest. The first thing we need to talk about, chums, is crude oil. This stuff called crude oil, okay? Now, if you want to do this activity with me to help your learning, it would even help you if you end up doing a marine science IGCSE. Can you just get, please, 2 cups? They can be clean or gross, it's entirely up to you. Just get 2 cups and get a teaspoon and put the teaspoon sort of upside down in the cup so you've got a lot of spoony bit in the cup. Do you get me? What we need to do is we need to make some little oceans. We're going to pretend that this teaspoon is the beach. So I need you to pour some water into the cups so that it's kind of up to the spooniest bit of the teaspoon. Does that make sense? So in a minute, not now, we will pour some oil, spoiler, onto our tiny little ocean, and we want to see what happens to the beach. Do you know what I mean? So this doesn't really matter. You just need, we've got a little ocean cup here, and we need something in it which is touching the water, so we can see if it gets oily or not. Yeah, so I've done something like that. So I've got a bit of cup touching the water, spoon touching the water there, touching the water. Yeah, fine. So if you could be setting that up while I'm setting the scene. Crude oil, oh, what is it? Petroleum, it often gets called. Well, it is a natural liquid. It's mainly made as stuff that lived in the ocean decays over millions of years. So many millions of years it takes to make crude oil. I've done a little equation for you here, just in case you find that hard to understand. Stuff that lives in the oceans, like a jellyfish, plus lots of time equals crude oil. There you go, now you understand. Actually, it's all coming together, chums. You remember what we learned about last week? The main living stuff in the oceans that crude oil is made out of is... There's this stuff that lives in the oceans. If you didn't come last week, then you'll just have to wait until the big reveal. But I didn't really know what it was, and then I learned what it was, and I was very pleased. It's got 8 letters in it. A lot of stuff in the oceans is like this. It can't swim against the tides, that's the definition. Give me a P, give me an L, give me an A, and T, plankton! Do you remember last week we talked about how plankton, I thought it was just teeny tiny bits of stuff, but actually plankton is the proper word for anything in the ocean that can't swim against the currents. So jellyfish is plankton. So yeah, plankton, like all this stuff that we looked at last week, your tiny little baby crabs and etc. It dies, it sinks to the bottom of the ocean, and over millions of years, it forms this incredible, really, liquid that you can burn, that humans can burn. So we looked at this timeline when we were looking at prehistoric creatures. 70% of the crude oil on Earth, we reckon at the moment, was made during this time, between like when the dinosaurs died and about 250 million years ago when the trilobites died. Humans use it for so many things. We burn it as a fuel, so you might have heard of fossil fuels, like oil is a fossil fuel, like gas and coal. We burn oil. Crude oil is basically petrol, diesel, ships and aeroplanes use fuel. It's running out is the big thing with crude oil, because it takes millions and millions of years to make it, but humans use it really quickly. So it's going to be a problem quite soon. I mean, it's a problem now, as we will see. Because burning fuels like crude oil releases carbon dioxide. You remember we talked about the ocean pH in another lesson? So 0 is really, really strong acid. 14 is the opposite of a really strong acid. At the moment, the oceans are kind of on the opposite side to neutral of acids, but they're having a lower pH because of carbon dioxide going into the oceans, which is largely from fuels like crude oil being burned. But even if you've got an electric car, you're definitely going to have some stuff around your house that is made of crude oil. We use it to make plastic. If you're wearing anything made of like polyester, that's made of crude oil. So my jumper is actually. Paint, tarmac, sticky tape. We use about 97 million barrels of crude oil every day. So to get it, humans have to drill down, because a lot of crude oil is in what we call reservoirs underneath the oceans. Have you set up your activity? Should we get some oil on top of our tiny little oceans? So we've got this little teaspoon beach here. We've got the water, which is the ocean. We need to spill some oil onto our tiny little oceans, because that is what happens. Have you heard of oil rigs, also called oil platforms? That's what these things are doing. They are designed to drill down into the seafloor and then pump oil up to the surface, where it gets carried away by pipes or ships. So sort of unsurprisingly, I suppose, really, oil spills happen quite a lot because ships use oil as their fuel. So when ships are having oil put in them so that they can move, oil often gets spilt. But sometimes a lot of oil spills into the ocean. So what an awful sentence. Let's spill some oil into our oceans, children. So it depends what sort of oil you're using. If you're using really expensive, like olive oil, then don't put too much in. I'm using this tank that we have in our house. Don't judge me. So I'm just pouring some oil on top of it doesn't really matter how much you use. You could use a tiny little drop of the finest olive oil, or you could use quite a lot, depends what the adults in your house say is okay. I'm quite oily now, but I did say to bring some toilet roll, so that's good. Here we go. So I'm going to talk about the biggest oil spill that humans have ever caused on an oil platform called the Deepwater Horizon. So this is what you should have done here. There we go. We've gone quite high at my beach, but that's okay. All right, so it doesn't even matter if you're using the same amount of oil or different amounts of oil. So I've just got some oil on top of my water. That's what I've done there. Yeah, in 2010, the Deepwater Horizon oil platform, or oil rig, it exploded. It was absolutely awful for loads of reasons. 11 people died. So it was a human tragedy and a kind of tragedy for wildlife. It took 2 days to put the fire out, and then the whole thing sank. But the hole that had been made in the bottom of the ocean to let the oil out, that still had oil coming out of it. So we need to add another thing to our ocean map now. Here we go. In the Atlantic Ocean, that's where the Deepwater Horizon accident happened. And if you're thinking, wow, that looks like it was really near a lot of coastline. In fact, I'm sure there's turtles around there. Yes, you are correct. So let's have a look at how you clear up an oil spill. I'm not going to talk loads about why oil spills are bad. I feel like you might well have seen pictures of seabirds with their wings covered in oil. I probably don't need to. You can look it up in your own time if you want to see how bad oil spills are. We've talked a bit about sea otters in these lessons. They've got really dense fur to keep them warm. They don't have blubber, so their fur traps air. So if they get covered in oil, then their air can't be trapped. They can't stay warm. So it's horrible for sea creatures in loads of different ways. It can cover up the plants in the ocean, which means that it messes with the food chain. So yeah, we'll talk more about how you clean up an oil spill, because if you ever wanted to do a marine science IGCSE, this is actually on there. So the first thing that they did on the Deepwater Horizon oil spill is the thing that we're not going to model. I couldn't really work out how to do it. I didn't want loads of greasy things floating in my cups. But this thing is called a boom. A boom is basically a massive long hose pipe, bouncy castle type thing. You can see it here, this yellow thing coming out of the back of this boat. And they're just designed to contain the oil, which is a good idea, right? The first thing you do, instead of trying to get the oil off the water, is just to make it so that it doesn't spread, because the ocean is constantly moving. You don't want it to spread out. And this would, you hope, stop it reaching wildlife near the coast as well. Here's another picture of a boom. It didn't really work with the Deepwater Horizon oil spill because it only really works on calm water. Like, as you can see, it's not very high. So if you've got any waves, and like spoiler, the ocean does have waves, then the oil just slops over the top or underneath as well. So there are booms. There may or may not be a quiz about booms later. But we're not going to model a boom. Yeah, I thought about having like biro lids floating, and then I thought nobody needs that. Let's move on to the next one. The next one is very controversial, though interesting. Did you bring some washing up liquid with you? So washing up liquid breaks up oil, gets in the way, splits up the oil particles, stops them being able to bond together. That's why we use it to clean grease off stuff. There's a special kind of washing up liquid which is designed for use on oil spills in ocean water called a dispersant. Not all dispersants are bad. Scientists are working on new dispersants. One of the first things they did when the Deepwater Horizon oil spill happened was put loads of dispersants into the oil to break it up into teeny tiny little bits. Let's see what happens when you do that. This is why you needed 2 cups, because once we've put some dispersant on our oil, we can't really go back and do anything else. But if you like, keep a close eye on the oil. I'm going to zoom you in. And then pour some washing up liquid on the oil and see what you see. You don't have to watch the TV right now if you have oil and washing up liquid in front of you. But if you haven't, you can watch mine. Wow, look at that. You can see, can you see the like rainbow film as the oil moves around? It's really moving, right? So, wow, look at that. It's kind of beautiful. So as you can actually see, the oil is really spreading out, right? Why would you want that to happen? So we've got some waves in the ocean, so we can do some swooshing to show what happens to the dispersant. So I'll zoom you out, might be making you feel a bit sick. What happens to the dispersant as it gets whooshed around in the water? Oh, look at that! Teeny, teeny, tiny little droplets of oil. Now, to be fair, we'd better do the same with this one that doesn't have any dispersant in it to see if the same thing happens. Because maybe just swishing up the oil breaks it up into teeny, tiny little bits. So I'll do the same thing. So give your oils a swish. You should have washing up liquid in one and no washing up liquid in the other. There we go. So there's definitely a difference, right? The oil without the dispersant is just smushing, technical term chums, back together again to form one big blob. And the oil that has the dispersant in it, you can see it's now all broken up into tiny little bits. Why would you want to do that? Why would they think that that would help? Well, that's quite cool, really. There are little microbes, teeny tiny little creatures in the sea, which do consume oil, kind of eat it, if you like. So the thinking is if you can break oil into teeny tiny little bits, then it's going to make it much easier for the microbes in the ocean to sort of take the oil in, and then you've solved the problem. The problem was the dispersants used in the Deepwater Horizon disaster, they hadn't actually really been tested that much. They certainly hadn't ever been used before on that scale. So a lot of scientists ended up saying that actually, surprise, when you do the tests, it turns out that the dispersants might have been worse for the wildlife than the oil. Sometimes some studies showed that a combination of the oil and the dispersants could be very damaging to a lot of creatures, if not actually toxic. They didn't spray the dispersants onto the top like we did. Here's a great diagram of what they did. Here's the wellhead, so that's where the oil is coming out of the ground. Some droplets rose up to the surface. This little kind of robot thing sprayed the dispersant right at the heart of where the oil was coming out. And you ended up with this incredibly long plume, which was sort of oil droplets and dispersant layered together. And that carried really far. We think it travelled a lot further than it would have done if they hadn't added the dispersants. Test stuff before you use them, I think, is one of the many, many lessons we learned from the Deepwater Horizon disaster. Okay, so that's dispersants. We need to use a different cup now. Because, oh, yeah, so I don't want to get sued, right? But we said we'd pretend that the teaspoon was the beach. Let's have a look at what difference the dispersants have made to our beaches, if anything. If you don't really like getting oily, some of you don't like getting messy, I know, you can just watch me. So if I pull, or if you pull the teaspoon out of your non-treated ocean and give it a touch, it is oily. It's not really any surprise that the teaspoon that was in the oil is oily. Okay. What about if we've added dispersant? I don't know. Shall I put both the spoons out so you can see? Is there a difference? What difference has the dispersant made to our beach? Those spoons definitely look different, don't they? I feel like I want to say this one is, the oil is sliding off this one more carefully. I really felt like this worked in my test. I don't want to just say it's working when it hasn't. I feel like my dispersant teaspoon is a little bit less oily. And this is one of the things that I read, she says, trying not to get sued by BP, is that one thing that dispersant did do is make the oil spread out so it didn't reach the beaches. It kept the beaches clean. Now, a lot of us, when 5 million barrels of oil spilt onto the ocean, would instantly think about the wildlife. But if you're the company that makes a lot of money out of oil and your reputation is important, another thing you might be thinking about is, how can we show people that this situation is under control? How can we stop people panicking and thinking that we're really bad? And one of the ways you could do that is to make sure that the beaches were clean, because if people are looking at a nice clean beach, they're thinking, oh, okay, that oil spill obviously wasn't that bad. And maybe they're not thinking about what's happening in other parts of the... Anyway, I'm going to move on. Put your dispersants to one side. So, right, okay, just get your cup of... I'm sorry about all this mess, by the way. I hope you've got people in your house that will clean this up for you. I have. If you've got just a cup with some oil in it and a spoon, right? I said to bring another teaspoon or tablespoon or whatever. Let's forget about the dispersant one. If I just said to you, oh, guys, I've got a load of oil in this cup. Can you get it out for me? What would you do? If you've got a spoon, for example, you've got a cup with water and oil in it, what are you going to do? You could do it right now. Put it back into... I said to bring a plate, but actually you could just put it back into the dispersant cup, couldn't you? How are you going to get the oil out of this cup? I feel like you just know straight away. You're probably just doing it now. You could even use your little beach spoon, couldn't you? Let's prop this up to get a good angle. There we go. Are you just sort of gently putting the teaspoon or tablespoon or whatever it is on the top layer of the water? Like that. So it gathers the oil, right? But it hasn't gathered up the water. I'll just stick it in there. Plop. Great, isn't it? So you could say that this was skimming. You could say that you are skimming the oil off the top. If you've ever made jam, then you skim stuff off the top of the jam in a very similar way to this. So this is brilliant, isn't it? You should just do this. To clean up oil spills, all you do is you get a massive spoon and you suspend it from the sky, and then you just do that. And then I suppose if you'd accidentally collected any sea creatures from the surface of the ocean, you'd just have to like get a massive hand to pick those out. Job's a good one. Yeah, so you might have gathered, this is a really good way to get oil off the surface, isn't it? But there is a problem, and the problem is, well, the proper term for this is you have skimmers, boats that are called skimmers. Skimmers are like equipment that takes the oil off the top. So there's all kinds of different skimmers. Here's a roller. It all just kind of relies on the fact that the oil is on the top of the water and it sticks to whatever the skimmer thing is. So here you've got a roller which will be rolling and rolling, and the oil will be sticking to it, and then the roller's kind of pulling the oil into the boat. It's a brilliant idea. I feel like the next picture shows you well what the problem with this is. Nearly 5 million barrels of oil in the ocean, spreading out in all different directions. So these are all boats. Most of them are probably doing skimming, but look how far the oil has spread. Like, we think that skimmers collected about 3% of the oil spilled. Okay. Another thing you can do is use something called sorbents. If you brought some toilet roll with you, then go back to your clean cup, your non-dispersant cup. A sorbent, it kind of acts a little bit like toilet roll. So if you've got some toilet roll and you want to dip that into your oil, have a go at that. Do you think that's going to work? 'Cause, I mean, I feel like if there was a really obvious solution, we probably wouldn't be doing this lesson. But what happens if you get a sorbent, something which is absorbent, and dip it into your oil? Go on, have a go. I won't spoil it for you. It's not. It's not awful, is it? It's not great though. So I'll just stick that in there. Yeah, go on. Let's use another bit. So one of the things you might be finding is that it seems like such a good idea, isn't it? You would really think that it would work. One of the problems is that you end up with quite a lot of water on your sorbent. And it's just not that effective, is it? So they did have a go at using this sort of thing as well throughout history, but we just haven't come up with a perfect solution yet. They also, and you know that I tried to do this for you. You know I tried to come up with an activity. You can also burn oil off the top of the ocean. It's called flaring. You know that I tried to drop matches into the oil. Nothing worked, so we're not going to do that. Shall we move on? Shall we move on from oil? So yeah, if you were doing an IGCSE marine science, which some of you are actually, then you need to know about all these different methods of cleaning up oil. And you also need to know that oil spills can coat the fur of mammals and the feathers of birds. It can poison organisms that ingest, kind of eat the oil. And it can disrupt the food chain by affecting producers like plants. Should we move on? Should we think about something else? Should we think about whales? Ah, lovely whales. What could possibly be depressing about whales? Oh, friends. Okay, right. I love whales. I think because I can't see them, because you can't see them very easily, that's what makes me want to see them so much. And I have been whale watching. It was a disaster. I got really seasick. I didn't even see any whales. But I chose like a really well-reviewed company, and I'm so embarrassed now when I look back because it didn't feel very nice at the time. And now the more I read, the more I realised how awful it was actually. Like this person was just in the front of the boat looking for whales, like driving over in this really big noisy speed. Well, I don't know, it was a very noisy boat, driving over to where the whales were so that tourists could take pictures. And then if the whales moved, then they would just kind of like go to where the whale was. And now, like obviously it makes sense that whales get really stressed out having a lot of noise in the ocean. So let's do an activity, which is a fun activity to talk about another thing that is slightly depressing. Can you get a metal spoon and tie a bit of wool or string around your metal spoon? A lot of you have done this with me before. I don't care. It's very good, and we're going to do it again because it's really relevant to this topic as well. So I'm just going to be chatting on about whales for a bit while you've got time to bezz around your house. You're home educators, right? Just go to your wool cupboards, go to your shed of wool, get some wool out or some string or shoelace would be fine, and tie it around a metal spoon, okay? So it turns out noise in the oceans, very stressful for whales. Whale watching for whales is like if we were stressed out because we were in a really noisy rock concert and we went out for some air and the rock concert just kind of followed us down the street. So scientists have proved now that whales who have got noisy boats, it's not just whale watching, obviously there's so many vehicles in the ocean now causing so much noise, but I guess this is something that sort of we can do. Whales that are near noisy boats, they tend to give less milk to their calves. Whales are mammals, right? Give milk to their babies. So females that are disturbed stop giving milk to their babies. Groups of whales that are disturbed by noisy boats could stop foraging for food. In very bad situations, they could get split up. Quite often, again, unsurprisingly, if a situation is very noisy and stressful, they will just leave, which means they're obviously not getting the food that they need. There's this thing called frequency masking. All right, while you're tying wool to a spoon, I'll just I'm not going to play you a tune, but I've got my guitar here to show you what frequency masking is. Because if you're interested in like sound recordings and being in a band or anything like that, frequency masking is very interesting actually. I didn't really know about it. I didn't know about it formally. So we've done a lot about this in IGCSE physics, but sound waves have like a certain frequency, like a certain amount of times that they vibrate per second. So in sound recordings, if the bass drum, say, and the bass guitar of a band are both vibrating at the same sort of frequency, then it gets all muddy and mushy, the sound, and a sound engineer would have to kind of try and alter it to make it sound better. So for example, if I've got a guitar here, if I play an A string and a D string, they're both vibrating at different frequencies. So there's an A, there's a D, there's both of them together. You can hear that, right? So you can tell that I'm playing two notes, can't you? A, D, both together. If I change it so that I'm playing 2 different A's, if I play those together, it just sounds like one note, doesn't it? It literally just, I promise you I'm playing 2 notes. So if you imagine that, so it turns out the singing, the calls that whales use to communicate with each other, it can often be on a very similar frequency to the frequency of the noise that the boats are making. So if you imagine that one of those noises is a boat and the other noise is your whale trying to hear the other whale, that's really difficult, isn't it? Oh man. So there are some things that we can do to try and help a little bit. One of the things that you can do, I mean, this is not rocket science. One of the things you can do is you can just watch whales from the land. There are loads of places, people were talking about it down in Cornwall on Facebook when I taught this lesson yesterday. There are lots of places where you can stand on land and see whales, and then you get to enjoy the majesty of the beautiful animal and have absolutely zero guilt and know that you are not interfering with the whales at all. So that's the best thing to do. Another thing you can do, which I thought was really useful when I read about this, was if you really want to go on a whale watching trip, quite a simple thing to do is just ask the person who's running it loads of questions to show that you care about the whales. Like you could say, do you chase the whales? How close to the whales do you get? How often do you go out? And that kind of thing. Because people who do whale watching trips, they just need to make money, right? So if they're thinking, oh, lots of tourists seem to really care about the welfare of the whales, so I'll make more money and stand out if I show that I care about the welfare of the whales, then that would be a good simple thing you could do. Right, should we do this activity? So, you get a metal spoon on a string. If you've got anything kind of hard near you, like a table or a wall, just whack it against the table or the wall, and you'll hear a sound. It's all right, innit? It's fine. It's nice. So what is happening is the spoon is vibrating to and fro, and it's making the air particles around it vibrate to and fro, and eventually the air particles are all bashing into each other until they get to your eardrum, and then your eardrum vibrates and then you hear a sound. It's incredible, right? It's magic. But this is a bit, because air particles are really far apart. So the air particles are like, boosh, boosh, boosh. It's not a very clear sound that you're hearing. The particles in the string, like solids, have particles that are really, really close together. So please be really gentle here, because your hearing is really important and you can't get it back once you've damaged it, speaking from experience. So do this very gently. You don't need to do it hard. But if you put your fingers on the string and then you put, it's great telly because you can't hear what I'm hearing, then you put your fingers in your ears and then you very gently tap the spoon against the wall or the table again. Can you hear me? See what you hear. It's amazing, right? I'm just going to give you a second to do that. It's so good. I mean, it's so clear and it's so rich as well, right? It's not just louder. I feel like I can hear loads and loads of different notes. So this is really annoying because I keep doing it and then chatting and you're going to be doing it and not going to be able to hear me. I've finished, okay? Are we going to finish it? You don't have to finish. I can't see you. You don't have to listen to me. But anyway, I'm going to keep talking now. So water particles, like what's in the ocean, liquid particles are quite close together. It's somewhere between what we heard through the air and what we heard through the solid wool. But that gives you a sort of, hopefully, a slightly better idea of how whales are hearing. They've got very good hearing and they are hearing things slightly different to us because they live in liquid, not in air. So yeah, I mean, in a way it's kind of sadder, isn't it? Because when you do have a speedboat travelling near a whale, it really affects it. Even the rock concert wasn't a very good analogy. Okay, finally, this isn't funny. This is just maybe ever so slightly lighter than, oh no, maybe it's not. Anyway, we need to talk about lionfish. We briefly touched on lionfish in a previous lesson, but I didn't know, guys. Very quickly, let's look at lionfish and then I'll do you a little quiz. Here's a lionfish. Oh, isn't it beautiful? Oh, they're so great. Okay, so lionfish are naturally supposed to be in the Pacific and the Indian Ocean, sort of around the coast of India here, Sri Lanka, around Australia way. That's where they're from. That's where nature intended them to be. Look how pretty they are. guess what humans did? Go on, guess. What did we do? You know what we did. What do humans do with pretty things? We just get them, don't we? We get them and we put them in places they're not supposed to be. So we put them in tanks all over the world. And then the lionfish got big. Surprise, they grew. And we were like, oh no, it's too big for the tank. Oh, well, it's a fish. It'll be all right. I'll just put it in the ocean. So we put the lionfish into the ocean and they just got everywhere, guys, because it turns out they have no natural predators and they eat everything. So they are literally a huge problem now in loads of places. In the Mediterranean, you're not allowed to just put on diving equipment and go hunting for stuff in the ocean in the Mediterranean. But the government of Cyprus made an exception for lionfish because they're causing so many problems. They're making other species go extinct. So culling means killing. Yeah, they are. They're like eating. They're eating creatures. Obviously, lionfish aren't sort of supposed to be. They don't naturally occur in the Mediterranean, so they're just eating creatures which are going extinct because they're getting eaten. But they're also messing up the food chain. They're eating creatures that keep the plants at bay. So now there's too many plants, which is messing. They're just messing with the food chain in all different ways. My business is not called like theatre of opinion, so I'm not going to tell you whether culling is good or bad. You know, some of you will be thinking, well, humans put the lionfish there in the first place, so humans need to solve the problem. Some of you will be thinking you should just never kill living things. That's an uncool thing to do. But anyway, that's what's going on in the Mediterranean. Phew, right. That was a lot, wasn't it? So that is the end of all of the stuff that I'm going to tell you. I've got, like we often do, 3 little quiz questions now where I'm going to test you on what you learned in that lesson. And then for those of you who have watched loads of oceans lessons, not necessarily all of them, but if you've watched a few, I've got a little 6-question quiz at the end. If you've got the free printout from my website, it's 4, but I turned it into 6 to see how much you've taken on board from the whole oceans module. All right, so you ready for this? Is just your 3 questions. We're going to draw a picture of a sandcastle. So if you've got a pen and paper, I'm going to show you 3 questions. Draw the bit of the sandcastle that you think goes with the right answer, and then in the end, we'll see what your sandcastle looks like. You ready? Here we go. So, question number 1. Which of these is used as a barrier to block oil and stop it spreading? If you think that dispersants are used when oil slicks happen to block oil and stop it spreading, draw this sandcastle like a little Minecraft cat type thing with little square ears on either side. If you think that booms are used as barriers to block oil and stop it spreading, draw this sandcastle at 2 rectangles on top of each other. And if you think that skimming is used as a barrier to block oil and stop it spreading, then just draw a square, okay? If you haven't got a pen and paper with you, you can just burn your sandcastle of choice onto your retinas. You only need to add 2 things. Oh, thanks for liking this, chums. People liking this video. It took me ages to realise that if you say like and subscribe, people do actually like and subscribe. Okay, next question. What might a whale do if it is feeling stressed? What might a whale do if it is feeling stressed? If you think that a stressed whale might stop feeding its calf, then draw this door, just a rectangle. If you think that a stressed whale might eat more, draw like a rectangle with an archway bit on the top. And if you think that a stressed whale might be likely to attack a ship, draw a little triangular door on your sandcastle. It doesn't matter where you draw the door. You might want to draw several doors. It's up to you. It's your sandcastle. Put some shells on it if you like. I don't mind. Have you drawn your door or burned it onto your retinas? Okay, last one. Why are lionfish a problem in the Mediterranean? You got to be careful here. I deliberately made it so that this question is just like the kind of sneaky question they'd ask you at IGCSE. Why are lionfish a problem in the Mediterranean? If you think that lionfish are a problem in the Mediterranean because they're not from there, then draw this flag, a little rectangle. If you think lionfish are a problem in the Mediterranean because they're being killed, then draw a little triangular flag. And if you think lionfish are a problem in the Mediterranean because they're putting other species at risk of extinction, then draw a little wavy flag, okay? Why are lionfish a problem in the Mediterranean? Why are they a problem? Why are they a problem in the Mediterranean? Is it because they're not from there? Draw a rectangular flag. Is it because they're being culled? Draw a triangular flag. If you think it's because they're putting other species at risk of extinction, then draw a wiggly waggly flag. Okay, you ready for the answers? Which of these is used as a barrier to stop oil? It's the boom. It's that sort of long hose pipe thing that looks like it's been blown up like a bounce castle coming out of the end of a ship. Dispersants are like washing up liquid, which sort of actually kind of spread it further, but hopefully it gets broken up by microbes. Skimming it pulls it off, but it isn't a barrier. So yeah, the right answer was the triangles on top of the rectangles on top of each other. What might a whale do if it's feeling stressed? Yes, it might well stop feeding its calf. So the correct door was a little rectangular door. And why this was a tricky question because all of these are true facts, right? Lionfish aren't from the Mediterranean and they are getting killed and they are putting other species at risk of extinction. So this is the sort of thing that IGCSEs do. These are all correct statements, but they're not all answers to the question. Lionfish aren't a problem in the Mediterranean because they're not from there. Like in the UK, where I am, we got a new bumblebee. Quite recently, the UK got a new bumblebee. It just travelled over from another country and it's just fit right in. Like as far as scientists can tell, it's not stealing the other bumblebee's food. It's not spreading any little bee diseases. It's fine. So just the fact that something just isn't from a place doesn't necessarily make it a problem. So lionfish aren't from the Mediterranean, but that's not why lionfish are doing everybody's heads in. They are being culled, but that's also not why they're a problem. They're being culled because they're a problem. They're a problem because they're putting other species at risk of extinction. So you're, if you drew the correct answer, sandcastles, then it should look like this. And if it looks like something else, then, you know, that's fine, isn't it? Hopefully you learn some things. Okay, so that's the end of sort of this lesson, except I've got you, like I say, 6 questions about oceans in general. I have given you, actually, even if this is the only lesson you've come to, I have given you quite a lot of information, so you probably will be able to piece it together. I've got 6 questions, and I want you to pick the letter that goes with what you think is the right answer. And then in the end, you will have a 6-letter word. And if it's the correct 6-letter word, then, I don't know, nothing, but feel pleased with yourself. I will do my ad at this point very quickly because some of you won't be doing this. Some of you will be new. So if you're new and you're thinking, this is weird, how is this science teacher doing this for free? This is actually my full-time job. It's so weird. I started streaming lessons in lockdown and then lockdown finished and Home Educators didn't want me to stop. So I just kept going. So I set up a page on this website called Ko-fi. It's what podcasts use a lot. If you're doing stuff for free, but you would like to be paid, please, then you set up a Ko-fi page where people can go and pay you. So it's just worked out so well. It's not a business model that I would ever have thought would work, but it does. I just make everything free. It's much easier for me. All the lessons are free, just like this. Printouts, optional printouts from my website, they're also free. Everything's stored on Catch-Up for free, so you can watch any of my lessons at any time. And I just say, if you're using them, can you pay me? And you are. Who would have thought that you would be? But you do. So if you go to my About section on YouTube, which is probably where you are now, or you go to the top of my website and click sign up, or if you're on my Facebook page, there'll be a sign up button at the top. I've tried to put the link everywhere. The idea is you send me £5 a month, which hopefully isn't very much. I keep seeing companies being like, this is the best value lesson on the internet. And I've never seen any education site say this is the best value lesson on the internet when it's as cheap as mine. Never. Because, I don't know. Anyway, we've got to get to the quiz. But yeah, £5 a month for potentially 4 IGCSE physics lessons, 4 all ages lessons, and I do a Lego show as well, which is coming up after this. It's very good value is what I'm saying. And you don't even have to pay me, but it's great if you do. So you send me £5 a month, or your £5 a month make a wage for me. Thank you very much. Best job ever. And I send you a little welcome pack to say, thank you so much for paying my wages because this is the best job ever. So I write Theatre of Science magazine. It doesn't come out very often because of all the teaching and the planning, but I am always writing it in the background. So if you support me, you're on the list to get it next time it comes out. But I send you some past issues to say, Thank you. So I'll send you an issue on moulds. You grow some mould on some food using this tray and a home compostable plastic bag, and then you identify the mould and then you compost it. It's got Choose Your Own Adventure. It's got a comic, an inordinate amount of time. I cannot begin to tell you how much time goes into Theatre of Science magazine. If you sign up with £6 a month, you get a sundial in your time issue as well, and a little quiz about clocks, and another beautiful comic, and some activities that you can do about Einstein's theory of relativity. I'm very proud of Theatre Science magazine. I'm not proud of how long it takes me to write it, but I'm very proud of the result. And you'll also get some rainbow glasses. So if you sign up, tell me how many children in your family so that they all get a pair of rainbow glasses. Right, whew, thanks you lot. I know like so many of you are supporting me. So many of you have seen that ad before. Let's do this quiz, okay? So, question number 1. The dorsal spines of lionfish are venomous. True story. Really annoying when fishermen touch lionfish. Where are the dorsal spines on this lionfish? If you think the dorsal spines on this lionfish are on its back, write an F. If you think they're on its bottom, write a W. And if you think they're near its tail, then write a D. Where are the venomous dorsal spines on this lionfish? On its back, write an F. Underneath, write a W. On its tail, write a D. Okay, next one. Sticking with lionfish. Study this photo of a lionfish. How fast do you think they can swim? This is my favourite bit of possibly any Theatre of Science lesson, when we learned how you can look at a fish and know quite a lot about how that fish behaves just by looking at it. So look at this picture of a lionfish. If you think that lionfish can swim really fast, then your second letter is O. If you think, yeah, lionfish can swim pretty fast, then your second letter is A. If you think lionfish, yeah, not built for speed, then write an I. If you're new, if you haven't seen a previous lesson, then don't worry about it. You won't know this, but you probably, if you get the others right, you'll be able to piece it together. Okay, next, are you remembering? We looked at a picture of a tuna and we looked at why we knew that the tuna could swim really fast. Okay, I'll move on. Helicoprion. I just wanted to show you a picture of Helicoprion. Helicoprion was a shark-like animal that went extinct 250 million years ago. True story. It had spiral-shaped teeth. We don't know why, because it died 250 million years ago, but maybe it was for getting the shells off ammonites. This is a model of what we think it looked like. If you ever find a fossil that looks like this, chums, that is not an ammonite. That is Helicoprion teeth. What? Just what? What a planet! But anyway, if Helicoprion was shark-like, which of the following are true? If you think that Helicoprion had bones, write a T for your third letter. If you think that Helicoprion was made of cartilage, then write an S. And if you think that Helicoprion ate people, then write an A, okay? You ready? Next question. Helicoprion, it was a bit like a shark. If you think that sharks have bones, write a T. If you think that sharks are made of cartilage, write an S. And if you think that Helicoprion ate people, then write an A. Next one. This is a very poorly phrased question. I apologise. Very poorly phrased question, but hopefully you'll see what I mean. Woodlice are crustaceans. Ooh, crustaceans. Do you remember that lesson? Arthropods, crustaceans. Which of these is not a fact about woodlice? Woodlice have only one pair of antennae. If you think that is not true, that woodlice have one pair of antennae only, if you think that's not true, write an H. Woodlice have bilateral symmetry. If you think that that is a lie, then write a T. Woodlice have compound eyes. If you think that that is not true, then write an S. It's a very confusing way to word a question, isn't it? This is what they do in exams all the time. I don't know why. Which of these is not a fact about woodlice? They have only one pair of antennae. If that is not true, write an H. They have bilateral symmetry. If that is not true, write a T. They have compound eyes. If that is a lie, then write an S. Beautiful picture of woodlice though, isn't it? I don't think we mentioned that they're crustaceans, so I'm glad we talked about that now. Next question. Which ocean is marked with a couple of question marks? Which ocean is marked with a question mark? It's in between Australia and the continent of Africa and below the continent of Asia. If you think that that ocean is the Atlantic, write a Y. If you think that's the Indian Ocean, write an E. And if you think it's the Pacific Ocean, then your fifth letter is an A. Pacific Atlantic, Indian, Southern Arctic. Ready to move on? Okay, last one. What are plankton? What are plankton? Which of these is the best definition of plankton? Plankton are living things that can't swim against ocean currents, write an S. Plankton are things that can't swim against ocean currents and make sugar using the sun, write a T. Plankton are microscopic things that can't swim against ocean currents, write an R. Which of those is the best description of what plankton in general are? Okay, should we get going? Let's do this. Let's look at the answers. The dorsal spines of life. Do you remember when we looked at the spines of a fish? The fins of a fish. So we learned that this W down here, that is the anal fin, because it's near the anus. A bum. D is, strictly speaking, that is the caudal fin, which is also the tail. F was the dorsal fin, because dorsal means back. We looked at how a lot of fish have more than one dorsal fin. The lionfish has really gone to town on its dorsal fins. Do not touch lionfish, friends. So the first letter was F. Study this photo of lionfish. It was its tail that you had to look at. I was so pleased. I put this question together and I thought, well, I'd better research it. And I Googled it, and yeah, it's true. Lionfish cannot swim very fast. But I knew that already because we'd done these lessons, and I remembered that a sort of moon-shaped tail or like a V-shaped tail is the tail of a fish that has evolved to swim really quickly. This fish, I can see, is built for more changing direction. So it's true, the lionfish gets its prey by kind of ambushing them. I guess that's what all the gorgeous camouflage is for. It actually can't swim as fast as most of the things that it eats. So your next letter was I. Helicoprion was made of cartilage. It wasn't made of bones because sharks don't have bones. They've got cartilage like what's in the tip of your nose. And it didn't eat people because it couldn't, because people weren't invented 250 million years ago. So the next letter was S. This was a very poorly worded question. It was supposed to be woodlice don't have one pair of antennae. But that's sort of like saying humans don't have one leg. They do, don't they? They also have another leg. So woodlice, sorry about that, they do have one pair of antennae. They've just also got another pair of antennae because all crustaceans have two pairs of antennae. They've just got one big pair and one very small pair. So if you're ever really up close and personal with a woodlouse, check it out. See if it's got another pair of antennae hidden away somewhere. So we've got the word fish so far. This is the Indian Ocean. The clue is that it's right underneath India. There you go. So the next letter was an E. What are plankton? It's any living thing that can't swim against ocean currents. So even a really big jellyfish would, strictly speaking, be plankton. Some people think that sunfishes are such rubbish swimmers that they also count as plankton as well. Whew. So your mystery word was fishes. Well done if you got that. If you didn't get that, but you're still here, well done you. Very well done. Oh my goodness. If you have just attempted a quiz about some lessons and you didn't see all the lessons, you've got a strong brain and I'm very impressed. Okay, you lot, I am going to very quickly, she says. It's always like, oh, just really quickly. And then I'm here for ages because you lot are interesting and I like to chat to you. I'm going to go over to my Facebook page now because whenever I'm live on YouTube, you will have noticed there are no comments. I stream live lessons into Facebook as well where there are comments. Some of you prefer to not have comments. But yeah, on my Facebook page at the moment, there is a post saying, if you want to comment here, I'll read your names and comments out at the end. So if you want to go to Theatre of Science on Facebook, then I'm about to read out the comments there. Oh, I hope I am. Let's see. Hopefully I posted it. Oh no, it's okay. I'm just in my... just being a really old person and not being able to find my own Facebook page. Here we are. Here's your comments. Yes. All right, Zach. Okay, oh, there's some very nice cups and bowls on display here. And Aya are rolled out of bed for this lesson. Oh, well, thank you for rolling out of bed. That's very good of you. So yeah, if you are going to leave because you don't have a Facebook account or you've got other things to do, then I will just say thank you. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't got a Facebook account, to be honest, that's probably the right answer. I've seen the little number at the top of the page, which is you watching, and I really appreciate you watching. Thank you. And thank you for the liking and the subscribing, and thank you for sending me actual money for the work that I'm doing so that this can be my job. I don't have to tell you, this is the best job ever. Look at me. It's the best job ever. I hope you're all right. It's the best job ever, right? You can just roll out of bed and watch these lessons. Oh, what a life we are living. Hello, Zach, to you as well. Oh, all right, Levi and Ezekiel. say hi and may or may not be running around making whale noises and dangling spoons off their ears. Happy Thursday, yeah. Hello, Abba. Our dog howled to your guitar. He always sings to any live music. We had to get rid of her piano. No. Oh my goodness. You should take your dog to the streets. In York for quite a long time, there was a man who used to play How Much Is That Doggy in the Window over and 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 over again with his guitar and a cymbal, which I think he had on his head, and a dog which used to just howl and howl. Oh, you like my jumper? Thanks, Bella. Thank you. You're so good, you lot, at noticing when I'm wearing a new thing. Yeah, I got this from Oxfam, and it is polyester, but it's okay. It was recycled polyester, and it was from Oxfam. So this crude oil has had a good long life on this planet Earth, and I'm never taking it off. So I think it's an okay use of crude oil. Whoa. Bella says, tonight I am doing a speech about climate change. And I mentioned fossil fuels. This lesson was very helpful. Of course you are. Why not? Home educators, though. Just doing a speech about climate change. Oh, yeah. Hello, Willow and Darcy. Guys, Willow and Darcy here. It's Willow and Darcy. Hello. What are you saying? The good old spoon and string activity, still good. I know. I'm like, as long as I'm not bored of it, you can't be bored of it either. Hello, Emily and Hannah and Katie and Sophie. We turned our oil spill experiment into Witch's Potion. Oh, that was clever. Oh, that was very clever. Oh my goodness, what am I... Yeah. The activity that we're doing in the Witches Lego show, which is at 10:30, by the way, if you want to come live on YouTube in the same way that this is. It was a disaster yesterday. So I'm going to have to make it a disaster again today, because that's only fair that you get to share in the joyous disaster. All right, Lana, we are going on a silent boat whale watching in Norway next month. Oh, that's amazing. Oh, I'm so jealous. What a brilliant idea. Of course, because technology is improving and improving. Wow, silent boats. I didn't know about that. Lana, I'm so glad that you are enjoying Marine Science IGCSE. Oh, yes, I should say, next to... Oh, I did say, I think, at the beginning of the lesson, didn't I? Maybe not. This was the last one of this term. So I'm doing a week of no teaching next week. No lessons next week, because I'm working on my supporter magazine, and I'm also planning for next term, which is Mythical Creatures. So 1 week off, and then after that we're starting on unicorns, will-o'-the-wisps, dragons, mermaid. I'm very excited, actually. I'm very excited. Hello, Freya and Dad. All right, Freya, giving your dad a shout out. Hiya, Freya's dad. Hiya, you okay? You enjoying the lesson? Yeah, good. Lana, there's you. Freya, there's you. Oh, there's Arthur. Hello, Arthur. Good morning from Esther and James. Hello. Hello, Esther and James. Esther and James. Hi. Thanks for coming. Hi. Bella, currently in the car. Probably at home by the time you finish. Sad the lessons are coming to an end, but excited for the lesson module. I know. I feel like the next module, we're still going to get quite... It's going to be difficult not to recreate the activities, actually, because we're doing about mermaids, which means we need to learn all about manatees, right? So, like blubber... Can I do the same activity twice in a row? I don't know. Stick around to find out. Hello, Toby. Oh, yeah, so you're the same. Yeah, sort of sad about it. I always feel like I always really enjoy researching these lessons, but I'm always totally ready when we come to an end to launch into something else. Oh, hello, Ella. Good to see you. Not see you, that's creepy, you know what I mean? Hello, Imogen and Ophelia. Happy Science Day, you two. I missed last week. Whoa. Winnie, age 7, is now Winnie, age 8. Winnie, congratulations. Oh, 8. That is a good one. When my child turned 8, they just suddenly got like really sassy. Are you sassy? I feel like you are. Happy birthday for last week. I hope you had a lovely day. I mean, it was only a week ago, so I feel like I can still say happy birthday. It's birthday week. All right, Deacon and Aria, fascinating lesson. We love whales, save the whales. Yes. Indeed. Oh, do you know, I need to reprint my pirate magazine that I wrote ages ago. I do need to reprint it. It was a really good one, actually. You just got a bit of string in it. That was the free gift, so you could tie some knots at the back. But the comic, which as usual I spent ages researching, was all about Sea Shepherd, about how Greenpeace want to save the whales. But one guy from Greenpeace was like, we're not saving the whales hard enough, and basically sort of became a pirate. Not everyone agrees with his methods, but they've done all kinds of things to try and save the whales in a more aggressive way. And every time I read that comic, I cry, even though I wrote it. Yeah, thank you. I will maybe inspired by you loving whales. Get that one reprinted. Hannah and Freya. Oh, yes. A picture of the custard tart. Are you kidding me? So yesterday, Hannah was making a cornflake tart. And I said, is it what I think it is? Are you going to have it with custard? Oh, what is it about? Thank you so much. So happy that I get a picture of this. Look at it. Look at Hannah's cornflake tart. It's exactly everything that I wanted it to be. It's pastry and it's jam and it's cornflake on top. I'm gonna make one of those bad boys. That is how I'm gonna celebrate the start of half term. It's just, why is it such a perfect combination of foods? Oh, I could use my homemade crabapple jam. Oh, Hannah, honestly, you've just made my holiday so much better. I can make individual ones and take them on picnics. Oh God, and the custard. Oh. And look, see, this is why I have to dedicate a lot of time to these comments, because they can't be rushed, because you really do make my life better, you lot. All right, Charlie, I'm going to draw some ocean pictures. Oh, are you? Amazing. Thank you. Brilliant. All right, Jancy, we thought we'd share. We have a collection of these fly egoic toadstools. Oh, you've got, do you know, I've been looking at, because we taught a mycology lesson, was it a year ago or was it 2 years ago now? Time goes really fast. But it's probably been my most popular module ever, learning all about different kinds of mushroom and mould and stuff, and making sourdough starters. And it is one of the ones that has proper changed my life. Every time I see a mushroom now, I have to stop for about 20 minutes to investigate all different bits of the mushroom. But I haven't found any fly agarics, and you've got some actually growing under your tree. Oh, look at that. What a beautiful thing. Oh, that is lovely. And the universal veil. Oh, so nice. And I don't know what they are, but they're gorgeous. Yeah, proper loving this time of year. But that mycology module has made this time of year even better for me. I found a mushroom with paws on it underneath the other day instead of gills. Got dead excited about that. Guys, look at this. Oh, no way, Aurelia, look at that. Oh, come on. Look at your sandcastle. That is a beautiful flag. Is that Thomas and Isabel? This is definitely the best value lesson on the internet. Oh, thanks. Aurora is watching. Aurora is watching. Hello, Aurora. All right, Lauren. I missed you last week as I was on holiday. Totes fair. But I watched Let's Not Catch Up. Oh, that's nice. Oh, thank you for watching on Catch Up. Hello, Magnus. Watching at Granny Jill's house. Granny Jill, hiya. Magnus, is Granny Jill Scottish? Is Granny Jill Scottish? Can I... No, I better not do an impression of Granny Jill. Granny Jill might not find it amusing if I do a Scottish. I love doing terrible accents. If I ever actually learn how to do accents in this job will be over. I've gone all Geordie. I mean, not Geordie, more Geordie. My husband's a Geordie. He loves it when I do impressions of his family. He laughs and laughs. He doesn't. Isabel and Thomas. Oh, thank you. I will enjoy my break. I can feel my throat getting a little bit. I've just done too much excited voice over too many weeks. Hello, Ivy. Hello, Ellen. Oh, you're saying, I wonder what this lesson will be about. Yeah, Lana and Finley. I mean, obviously so much that we didn't cover. I thought I won't do plastic in the oceans because we all know about plastic in the oceans, right? We know. Also, it's kind of a land problem and an ocean problem. There's so much that I didn't cover. Ellen's here. Hello, Ellen. Imogen, back in Abu Dhabi. Nice. All right, Teddy, coming to you from the cottage. Nice, Teddy. I love the way it sounds like you are presenting your own TV programme there. Hi, everyone. Here, Teddy, coming to you live from the cottage where I'm watching Theatre of Science live. Hello, Teddy. All right, Jacob. All right, Laurie. Hello, Tor. Tor's here. Good to see you. How are you doing? You all right? Yeah? Bit awkward, isn't it? Because obviously I can't hear you, but hopefully you're okay. It'd be awkward if you were like in a hospital with like both your arms up in plaster and I'm like, all right, Tor, you're right. You're doing okay, mate? Yeah, it's great to see that you're doing okay. She's so annoying. Anyway, Laurie is here. That's nice. Hello, Laurie. I sort of skimmed you. I'm going to come back to you because I feel like I didn't dedicate enough time to Laurie. So there's Laurie. Hello. We're back. Come on, Sebastian and Humphrey. Hello. Sebastian, yeah, come on. Your mum loves my jumper. It's getting a lot of love from the mums today. Sebastian and Humphrey, I was back in the theatre where you came to see me in a play last night. doing the sound and the lights. It was so scary. I was thinking, it's so weird because I can very happily like leap out of bed and stream a lesson to 100 people, and that's not scary for me. Whereas sitting in a lighting box, watching a show, knowing that in 5 pages time there's going to be a gunshot and I have to like press the gunshot sound effect or it's going to look weird. I was absolutely terrified because I'm an overthinker, right? My hand was on the spacebar 5 minutes before that gun came out, and I was so worried that it was just going to be 2 people talking and suddenly this, and everyone like, what? Or the woman comes on stage to do the shooting and it's like, take this! Anyway, it was fun. It was fun. But I prefer acting, I will say. Goodness me, it gave me a real appreciation of what it's like to do lighting and sound. All right, Izzy B. Oh, if you mix a bit of cocoa powder into your oil, it's more like crude oil. It's too late now, isn't it? Maybe some people will read that and then do it better. Oh, hello, Tamara. You got an otter keyring. Oh, so good. Oh, okay. Izzy B has made a boom model. Detergent and cat's hair. Oh, yes, this is true, actually. So let's have a look at this. Detergent and cat hair. Hair is great at absorbing oil. Let's have a look. Are these comments from you or are these comments from other people? Oh, no, they're photos. Oh, brilliant. Cat hair is good. Yes. So in other oil spills, they did use apparently like pairs of tights stuffed with loads of animal hair from vets and things. Just got loads of hair, stuffed it into basically, yeah, just tights and put it in the ocean. And that absorbed the oil and kind of acted like a boom as well, which was a great idea. Apparently, a lot of people suggested it for the Deepwater Horizon, but they didn't actually do it. But here's Izzy B. Look at this. What a brilliant idea. You have actually made a boom. And it is containing the oil. Is that your oil and cocoa powder? Oh, blummy neck. Oh, yeah, that's a great idea. Aww. You've even got a little bird with little feathers and some little... Oh, man alive. That is very cool. Ah, well, I mean, I feel like I just dunked a teaspoon in there. This is much better. Oh, and here's Aurelia's picture of a sandcastle before I go. Look at that. Shells for eyes. Yes, Aurelia, shells for eyes, of course. And little sticks for arms. Why have I never thought to do a sandcastle like a snowman? That is such a brilliant idea. Right, very sadly get rid of that picture of the cornflake tart. Okay, I better go because we're doing a Lego show about witches in 20 minutes time. I need to wear a terrible costume. I need to put some more photos of witches on my PowerPoint. I need to set up the Lego story again. I've got a lot to do. So if you lot could just stop being interesting and sending me interesting pictures, that would be brilliant. I don't think you have, though. I don't think you have stopped. I think you... let's have a look. All comments. I've... So Facebook has mixed up the comments, which is a bit annoying. If I scroll down, I'm just reading, Ivy nearly fell over while running to the loo as she didn't want to miss the lesson experiment. Ivy, safety first, dude, safety first. That's exactly the kind of thing my child would do. Look at that. Is that the correct sandcastle? Very nice, Ivy, I'm liking that. Oh, yeah, that's really cool. I'm loving these very beautifully decorated sandcastles. Is that a balcony? How much do I want to live in that sandcastle? And you got the word right. Thank you. Very nice. Okay, let's have a little look and then I really had better go. That's just my catchphrase. Anyway, I'd better go. Chats for another 12 minutes. Willow and Darcy, there's Bella, Sophie, Katie, Emily and Hannah. Maya! All right, Maya and Thea. Wow. I'm just bellowing now into my phone. Maya and Thea, I was wondering if in the witches lesson you've included the colour of the witch's outfit can help with a certain type of spell. Maya, no. No, we're basically just talking about the witch trials in ye medieval times. All right, Dexy, I'm being a psycho killer for Halloween. Terrifying. Lana, going on a whale watching trip in a silent boat. Ah, there's Aurora, hello. Esther and James are there again. Lucas and Elliot and Eleanor. Eleanor. I'm just going to keep shouting your name until I get it right. That's how you do things. Hello. James, say hello to Eleanor for me. Pronounce their name right. Is it James? No, it's Lucas. Hiya, sorry. I'm getting Esther and James and Lucas and Eleanor mixed up. Anyway, hello you lot. Hello, all of you. Hello, welcome. Hi. There's Toby again. There's Ella. There's Granny Jill and Magnus. Granny Jill isn't Scottish, but was very pleased to get a shout out. Where's Granny Jill from? I must know. I simply must know. What does Granny Jill sound like? Is Granny Jill very posh? Is Granny Jill the sort of granny that sort of speaks like this? Yeah, like this? Does anybody speak like this? No, I don't think so. Not even the Queen. Plus the Queen's dead now, so I was just going to stop. I'll stop, shall I? There's Arthur. Ollie! Oh, Ollie! Ollie, age 11. Hello, good to see you. Splendid. There's Winnie. Sorry, Winnie, my eyes are... Winnie, age 8. Hello, age 8 and a week. Is that Deacon? Oh, God, honestly. There's Dexy again. Oh, Deacon and Aria. Yeah, saving the whales. Totally agree. Oh, the Martin children. Hello, Martin children. There you are. Good to see you lot. Not see you. You know what I mean. There's Ollie again. Oh, there's Charlie. Yeah, I'm excited about those drawings, Charlie. Right. I guess I'd better go. There's Jancy, Jay and Daisy and Daniel. Whoa, Lauren's doing an ice skating competition on Saturday. I won gold at my last one. Good luck. Very good luck. That's a lot of pressure, isn't it? Like, winning gold is awesome, but then the next one, that's a lot of pressure. Well done you for just putting up with the mental pressure. That in itself is a massive achievement. Wow, well done. That is so cool. That feels a little bit like doing the lights in a lighting box during a theatre for me. That sort of like psychological, whoa, Lauren, that's amazing. I'm seriously impressed with you, dude. Good luck as well. Best of luck with it. There's Imogen, Ivy. Yeah, there's Teddy live from the cottage. Easy B with the far superior crude oil, which I'm trying not to get annoyed about. There's Tor again. All right. Okay, well, I better go. I've now got 15 minutes to set up my Lego story, which isn't very many minutes at all. I'll just quickly go to newest comment. Newest comment. Oh, there's Dexy. Oh, it's just you lot saying bye. Okay, brilliant. All right, good. See you later, everybody. I'll see a lot of you for the Witches Lego show in 15 minutes time. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you for liking and subscribing and for paying me money. Best value lessons on the internet. I'll see you all very soon. Bye.